Hello, everybody, and welcome to Virtual Bourbon. My name is Steve Akley. We have a fun event tonight because we're going to be doing a side-by-side tasting of Yellowstone Limited Edition. Happens to be one of my favorite yearly releases. I do try to get that thing every year, and big fan of what Steve Beam is doing down there at Limestone Branch. And I like the brand for sure. And it's just he does a yearly release right because they're each different enough where you can certainly enjoy them for different reasons and things like that. And I always like to, when we get to these things where it's a yearly release, I like to see if they did a better job over the previous year, because I know if I had that role and that's what I was doing each year, I would want to exceed what I did the last year. And no matter how high I set that benchmark, then what I did that this current year, then the next year after that, I feel like I got to take it yet another level higher. And I know, talking to my buddy Freddie, that's what he tries to do with the Little Book series. And I think he by and large really accomplishes that by getting creative every year and stuff like that. And Steve Beam does the same thing, does some cool stuff. Before we get to the tasting portion of the show, let's pour our first sample, which is going to be the 2020. We're going to go in the year order here. So 2020. We'll pour that and just set it aside for just a minute here, though. And I got a little bit of history here. I'm not as good as Wes at these things. And of course, we've got an event coming up where we're going to do a Yellowstone tasting of a Dusty, and Steve Beam's going to be part of it, and Wes will be doing that. So that should be a very good event. But they'll really have probably a lot more information than me. But in doing some research, which I turned to Mike Veach for these type of things. So I started to jump into what Veach had written about Yellowstone. He's got quite a bit of stuff out there, but very interesting. I did find out some things that I didn't know. The brand was in 1872, the same year that they opened up Yellowstone National Park. They started Yellowstone Bourbon as well. It was put together, and this was one of the first things that surprised me. Distillery was opened in 1854 by J.B. Dant, which was the son of J.W. Dant. So I always thought J.W. Dant was the guy primarily responsible for Yellowstone, but it was actually his son was the one that did that. So he opened a distillery, which is where the current Log Still Distillery is. So that's the brand that they've brought back and have that property now, which is very cool. So, but that's where they were distilling, and that's where Yellowstone would ultimately be distilled. But another interesting twist to the story was that JB Dant, it wasn't actually their brand. They were the one that were distilling it, and they came up with the formulation. So they created it, but it was actually created for a company that like I don't know, like a barrel bourbon that doesn't make their own stuff. They actually did this thing where they would contract distill for this company. The name of the company was D.H. Taylor Company, and they were selling a lot of bourbon and stuff out west. And when they were coming up with this in 1872, by chance, fate happens that Yellowstone, of course, was a big thing. It just was signed into a national park, the first ever U.S. national park. I think a lot of us have probably heard that if we don't already know that. We've probably heard it at some point in our lives and maybe forgot it. But I didn't realize, too, that was the first ever national park anywhere. So there was kind of a thing now that a lot of countries have national parks, but the first designation was Yellowstone in America, which is kind of cool. But this company, D.H. Taylor, had this brand that they wanted to source. They talked with JB and they agreed upon, formulation and all that. And they had to come up with a name, and they came up with the name Yellowstone based on, taking polls of their customers. Their salesperson, a guy by the name of Charles Townsend, he was the one who was responsible for selling out there. And he talked to all the customers, and they said Yellowstone would be a good name. So that's how they named it Yellowstone. And they had this great partnership where they would make the bourbon, and the team at Taylor, D.H. Taylor and Company, would go out and they would sell it. And that continued until the passing of D.H. Taylor. And then another individual, a guy by the name of John T. Williams, bought it from the Taylor family. And he ran it for, I don't know, about 7 more years. And then I guess he was having some health issues, and he sold it out, and he sold it to J.B. Dant. So then J.B. Dant, who was still alive, took over Yellowstone. And that's how it became a Dant family bourbon, produced and sold then by the Dant family at that point. And they would continue to be involved in this through Prohibition. So they would make that. And ultimately, when Prohibition comes about, the Dant family is getting out of the whiskey business because it's no longer really a thing. And some individuals from the old D.H. Taylor Company, which is now Taylor Williams, based on those two initial owners. They buy the brand and they continue to sell the stock then, not themselves directly during Prohibition, but through Brown-Forman, through a licensing deal. So they kept the name, and you could buy, during Prohibition, you could buy Yellowstone Bourbon as a prescription to help you out with whatever ailed you. So they could, all those notes. You ever see that list of things it fixes? It's pretty cool. Of course, we've come full circle now. A lot of medicinal marijuana states, of course, have very similar lists of things, ailments that it can get you prescribed medical marijuana. But back in the day, you had to describe to your doctor what your problem was, and you could buy it. It was actually pretty expensive. You buy a pint, and it was like $3 a pint, which is a lot of money back in the 20s. So it's actually pretty expensive hobby to still have to drink legally, but you could. And I think I would have been part of that thing. I would have maybe get my Yellowstone or whatever it was in that way if I had lived through that time. But as Prohibition ends, distillery, they build a distillery back and get it going, but it kind of dies down a little bit. That it was hard getting the distillery going, keeping the brand going, and they ultimately sold out to Glenmore in 1944. So Glenmore then has the Yellowstone label. They built it up. They sunk a lot of money into it and building up the name and all that. And in 1966, it was the most popular bourbon in Kentucky. So it was Kentucky's #1 bourbon in 66. Another change that Glenmore made in 1972, they had changed the label had been the same all the way back to like 1900, and it featured Yellowstone on the front with the waterfalls, and it still featured Yellowstone the park on the bottle in 1972, but they changed it to the Old Faithful instead of the waterfalls that are theirs, and that's still the look that they have today. Has the here's the bottle here. All the Yellowstone bottles have Old Faithful on it. Who here's been to Yellowstone? I have. Yeah, it's cool, isn't it? It's one of the most amazing places that you'll ever go to, and it's all natural. It reminds you, it's curated like a Disney park, like the things that Disney could think up. It's all being done there, and it's these weird boiling pots just are around, and some are filled with acid, some are filled with boiling hot water, some sulfuric that stink, and there's this like caves that just belches smoke and stuff. There's all this weird stuff. Old Faithful, of course, is neat to go out there and watch it. But there's this one, the steam area. And just a side note here, some vacation stuff. As you walk through it, it's so weird. The steam hits you. Melanie, I don't know if you went to this particular feature there, but the steam might hit you and it comes in a wave, and it might be very hot around your face and arms, but at your legs it might be like really cold, and as another wave comes, it might hit you, and it might be the reverse. It might feel warm around your legs and cold, and somebody standing next to you might be like, oh, I'm really hot, and then the person a little bit to your right would be like, no, I'm just cold right now. So it's and it's all just natural crazy stuff. It's Yellowstone's just an amazing place for sure. But yeah, Old Faithful became kind of the company corporate look moving forward from 1972 forward. And then in 1993, you ever hear of like your favorite baseball team has like a three-team trade and stuff like that? Well, they did one of these in 1993 when Heaven Hill was buying it from United Distillers, who had bought it from Glenmore. And then a fourth team was added in there, David Sherman Company, which is St. Louis based, which would change their name to Luxco, that owns Lux Row Distillery today. So all these distilleries got together and they worked out this trade, and everybody got a part, and there's cash and all this trading. And out of it comes that Luxco, which was David Sherman Company at the time, owned Yellowstone. And they were the owners of Yellowstone, and they just strictly sourced it. And unfortunately, it fell from this very vaulted brand to not very good. It was a bottom shelf dweller. Always had a great look, though. Always had that beautiful label, and it looked really good on the shelf. It just wasn't very good bourbon. But in 2010, Steve Beam and his brother Paul Beam start Limestone Branch Distillery. And Steve Beam's goal was to get Yellowstone back because he wanted that back. It was so associated with the Dant family, which he's part Beam, part Dant, and he wanted that particular brand back. And he met with Paul Lux and tried to, or Don Lux, he met with Don Lux trying to get that brand back, and he said no initially, and then Steve just kept pursuing it. And eventually they worked out a deal where Lux Co. got ownership in Limestone Branch. And in return, Limestone Branch got full ownership of Yellowstone. So they're the ones that curate it. They decide what it is. That is fully up to the Beam family now to do that. So Steve and his brother Paul, and of course Steve being the distiller, he's the one that kind of makes all the calls as what that limestone is going to be moving forward. So that's been pretty cool. And of course they've been bought out now by MGP. I don't know what long term that's going to look like. So MGP is now owns Luxco, and of course it owns Limestone Branch too, because they had sold a majority stake as part of that Yellowstone deal. So MGP owns it all. At this point, it seems like they're just kind of hands off. They're not really doing a whole lot with it, just kind of letting things run themselves. And they may continue to do that. Or they may not. Things could change too, so you just never know. A big company like that, what they're going to do. But so that's a little bit about Yellowstone and how we got to where we are at today. This yearly release thing is, like I said, something that I look forward to. They've been able to utilize their liquid in it for the last, I don't know, 5 years or something like that. I think early on, when they had 5-year-old product, they put a little bit of it in there, and then they put more and more of their stuff in there. Of course, it's still blended with things that they source, and they do source from Heaven Hill primarily. So that's who makes it. All right, so let's pour 2021 as we get ready to try 2020 here. So pour 2021, but leave that aside, and then we're going to pick up that 2020. And this is a small enough group. You guys can open up the mics and everyone can participate. And we'll ask everybody to weigh in on tasting notes and things like that. This one's really good on the nose. It's sweet and
rosy.
What's that?
Rosy.
Rosy.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. You think so, Danny? Yeah. I get that. Kind of cakey too. A little cake in there.
Mm-hmm.
What else does anybody think?
Gingerbread.
Of what's that?
Gingerbread.
Gingerbread. Okay. Oh, very timely. This is gingerbread's time of the year, so why not? All right, let's taste it and see what we got here. Wow. That is dynamite. That's going to be tough to beat. That's really got nice flavor. Very kind of sweet, and it does warm up really nicely. I mean, it's kind of continuing to kind of just low and heat up, not just on the mouth, but it's certainly doing some of that, getting a little spice there. So kind of sweet and, again, cakey on the front for me, and kind of oaky and leathery and peppery on the back.
Yes. What's the proof on this?
Proof. This is 101 proof. 101 proof.
It's hot for 101.
Yeah. That definitely heats you up a little bit. So I guess they do 101. They're both 101, so that must be the standard. Of course, bottle beautiful. Again, redesigned by Steve Beam. Just I think for 2020 was the first time they did this one. So really cool. What else, Mike? What do you want to share taste wise? What are you getting with this one?
It's fairly nutty
Mm-hmm.
in a good way.
Yeah.
And then kind of your standard, when I say standard, it's better than standard, but your normal like bourbon type candy
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
noses. And then I don't know. I pre-gamed with full proof, so I'm probably killing myself on the hug already. But so it's not too hot, but it is enjoyable, and I think it does drink a little warmer than 101.
Yeah. All right, Danny, what do you think?
Yeah, I get kind of like the peanut brittle
Peanut brittle? Okay.
on the taste.
Yeah. Sally, how about you?
And it has a long finish for me.
Mhm,
A lot of heat
mhm.
in a good way.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, yeah, lingering heat.
Again,
Did-
very surprising amount of lingering for 101 proof. Yeah.
Steve, did 2020 have a secondary finish? Or is that just 21?
No, I think this did, but I don't know that it says anything on here. Oh yeah, finish in Armagnac casks. There it is. So right there at the bottom there. So and this one, 2021, all finished in Amarone cask.
Nice.
Amarone.
Amarone,
Maroney.
Amarone. Okay.
Italian
So-
red,
What is Amarone? I don't know.
Italian red.
Italian red. I know nothing about wine, so that's in definitely in my non-knowledgeable area for sure. Know nothing about it. Brad, what are your thoughts as you taste this one?
I'm simultaneously watching a basketball game.
Okay, how's that going? Is it going good?
We're losing right now, but it's okay.
Okay.
First half. No, it is delicious. I think it does drink hot in 101, but in a good way.
Yeah,
I do get a little bit of the gingerbread, which someone mentioned. Even though it's hot, it's still soft.
yeah,
So
yeah. When you say drink hotter, that can be a good thing or a bad thing. But I do think
True.
in this example, it is a good thing. So yeah, yeah. There's times when it's hot, and when it's hot just to be hot, that's not good. It has to add flavor and complexity. And that's best. All right, Melanie, how about you? What are your thoughts here as you taste this one?
It's very flavorful. I did look up Amarone or Amarone. It is described as a typically rich, dry red wine. So I do get some dryness on the finish.
Okay. Well, that's the other one though.
Yeah.
Amarone.
Oh,
That's coming up. That's coming
well, 20 is also dry on the finish for whatever reason.
Because they were thinking about using it for next year. That just
That's it,
it's
that's it.
power of positive thinking. So yeah. Neil, how about you, man?
I agree with what you said earlier. It's sweet up front,
Mhm.
and it's spicy, oaky, all the good stuff in the
Yeah.
the finish.
Yeah.
I like it. It's really good.
Yeah, me too.
The Mr. Bill thumbs up.
Yeah.
Mr. Bill, thumbs up. Yep. So that mouth feels great on it. Good stuff.
Mhm.
Good stuff. Carrie, how about you?
I think it's really like on the nose, it's very sweet, cakey
Mhm.
that I like. And I get a little bit of like the smoky on the finish.
Gotcha.
I told Justine it's kind of her typical Mr. Scoop comment, but she's not getting the tobacco that I get.
Yeah. Didn't Steve Beam have you sign a bottles one time for him or something, Justine? What was that? What happened there?
You made me sign the bottle that he signed for me. So it has my signature and his signature on it.
I did. How did I get involved in this? I don't remember that. I thought Steve Beam asked you to sign it.
No,
Well,
he
now it's a collector's item.
It is.
It's got
Yeah.
Justine's signature on
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Now it's
I
a
mean-
collector's item.
Secondary for that thing would go through the roof whenever it hits it. So yeah, right now she's holding on to it. So Justine, what are your thoughts as you taste this one?
I don't have really anything different. I agree with Mike's comment about nutty. Like I'm getting kind of like a walnut taste,
Okay.
but I'm picking up the same gingerbread that I got on the nose, but with like a walnut finish.
Okay. Walnut kind of goes, in my mind at least, along the lines of what Melanie's saying too, kind of drying or a little bit bitter at the end. A walnut definitely gives you that too when you're eating those kind of on the finish. So same type of thing. All right, we'll come back to this. We always like to go through twice, and we will vote which is the favorite by the end of the night. But let's put it aside for now. We'll pull over the 2021. All right. Melanie's checking it for any imperfections. How's it look?
It's beautiful.
It is.
And I don't know if it's, power suggestion, but I really get a little bit of the reddish cast from the wine.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Mhm. All right. What are we getting on the nose there? Help me out here. What do we got? What is that?
Like a honey candy lifesaver,
Honey candy? Yeah,
like honey and red fruit.
honey and red fruit.
It's the butter rum lifesavers.
Butter rum lifesavers. So those are good. I
Mhm.
haven't had those in
My
years,
favorite,
but
yeah.
I haven't had them in years, but I assume they still make them. Those are really good.
Yeah.
It's definitely good on the nose. But there's something else there too. Maybe it's more like honeysuckle to me. Because not full honey, but interesting. All right, let's try it. Second one. So cheers, gang.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah, that one also really good. Doesn't quite up as much as the last one. Still warms up, but not to that level. Again, a little bit sweetness, not quite as sweet up front as the other one. I do get kind of the baked goods in the middle.
I think this is more balanced than the 2020. This just seems the same flavor all the way through, not a big difference.
Yeah. Yeah, it's solid for sure.
I think I get a little more initial heat.
Initial
on the
heat.
second one, and then it's more of a
You're right.
like hot up front and then kind of slower burn.
Mike, you're kind of right about that because in
In a
the
good way.
front of my tongue too, it's kind of a little spicy,
A little tingly.
a little tingly. Yeah. Yeah.
Almost like it might have had a little somebody stubbed their toe on the rye.
Mm-hmm. Mine kind of my palate changed a little bit from like baked goods in the mid palate to kind of like creme brulee back. So it's very, very drinkable, very good bourbon for sure. I like it. I like it.
Does hang out for a little while.
It does. It does.
Mhm.
It does have a long finish.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right. We'll
Not
go
as dry as the first one.
not as dry. Yeah.
No.
Yep.
A gooey butter cake with cherry compote.
Gooey butter
Wow.
cake. Now you're talking St. Louis stuff here. So that's
Cherry compote.
cherry compote. Okay.
Dolly just killed my dinner.
Is that what you're having?
No, but we're going right to dessert.
Okay.
Yeah. Brad, how about you? What are your thoughts?
I've had neither of these before, so I wasn't sure what to expect, but they're very different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh yeah.
I was almost expecting a similarity, but very different. I agree with Melanie that it is more uniform.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's good. I like the gooey butter cake too.
Gooey butter cake. Yeah.
Tasty.
Yes.
Mhm.
It is quite tasty. All right. Robinsons, anything you'd like to add on that?
Other than what pretty much what everybody says, I think this one's a little bit more balanced and it hits all the parts of your mouth at the same time, and it's got a long finish to it. So
Mm-hmm.
good.
Mhm. Okay.
And these are both good fireside sippers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Justine, what are your thoughts?
I like this one.
Mm-hmm.
I think, yeah, I agree with everybody. It's kind of more balanced and
Yeah. It's very good. Carrie?
It goes from that butter rum into a butter cookie.
Okay.
And I really like this one.
Yeah. Excellent. Excellent. Mr. Danny?
Oh, I'll have to agree with everybody else and then take Mr. Bill's spot and go, I like it.
I like it. Yeah, I like it. It's as simple as it gets, right?
Mhm.
I like it. All right. Mike?
Yeah, I'm wondering if did you mention anything on the mash bills on these and I missed it, or do we have any of that? I wonder how different those might be.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. And especially because they do, like I said, blend it. Like I said,
Well,
they like to work their own distillate in there, but they like to use some of the older stuff too from Heaven Hill.
Well,
So
I
it
guess,
gives-
yeah,
yeah.
then
So-
you finish it, so it's kind
yeah,
of,
then you got, yeah, you're offsetting a lot of that flavor then with the finishing process. So yeah.
I mean, it's fantastic. And I almost got a bottle of 2020 last year and I missed it by about 15 minutes. And then 2021, I never saw it. But I'll have some when I go to Texas at Christmas. I'll weasel a little bit out of my buddy who likes to buy bourbon and not open it. I said, "You're breaking the rule, man. Crack the rule crack it open as soon as you get it home, then you don't feel bad about it."
Exactly. So on the side of this, there are some details here. So it is a 15-year-old bourbon, which again is going to be their Heaven Hill part, and then 7 years old. That's stuff that they've made. So they like doing that blend. They want to make sure that their own distillate is in their product. So that's what's going on in that one. Let's see if this one also says that. 2020 doesn't have anything about the years or anything like that. So it's just an overview. Nothing. No sort of any age statement or anything. So all right, let's put 2021 aside for the moment, and then we'll go back to 2020. I'd like to see if anything's changed here. The whiskey or us. Let's see.
More of a caramel smell.
Yeah, it has changed. It's very good.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like an air freshener like this one.
It has a little funk to it now.
Interesting. I don't know if that's going to be good or bad on the flavor, but let's see.
Didn't really change the
bad.
flavor for me. It's about the same.
Yeah.
Sweet up front and
Really sweet.
a little spicy on the back.
Sweet and then spicy, and then still warm, very warm, heats you up still. That hasn't gone away, hasn't diffused the heat, which is good. I mean, it's solid offering for sure.
I get the peanut brittle that Danny said before.
All right, that's good.
I didn't get it the first time, but I get it now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything else for the official record here before we move on?
It didn't get worse.
It did not get worse. No, it's good. I like both of these, so I will vote. This isn't a blind tasting, so I get to vote like you guys, and I'll be voting tonight. But yeah, definitely did not get worse. That's good. Very, very good. Very good. All right, let's pick up our 2021. And it's good. Let's try it.
I could drink a wine glass of that.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right on. That drink's very easy, doesn't it?
Mhm.
Got a little more like old cedar trunk, leather and cedar to it on the second time around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or I'm just crazy. That happens too.
Maybe a little bit of that too, right?
Maybe just a scotch.
Again, this one, while it does heat you up whole way, I do still at the front of my tongue. It's spicy at the front of my tongue.
Right.
So that's interesting how these things hit you at different places on the palate.
It's almost the reverse of
Yeah. 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 They flip-flopped it on us. I don't know how, but they did.
Yeah, this one definitely had that Listerine on your tongue, not flavor, but that
Okay.
Listerine burn is up front
Gotcha.
versus in the back.
Yeah, the feel of
Well,
it.
that got some looks.
Yeah, Listerine
you know it's
flavor.
working.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
working.
That's how you know it's working.
Yeah. I've been seeing a lot of people, media people posting this online. 2021 model Yellowstone. Thank you, Stephen Fonte and Stephen Beam. So I've been running out to the the porch every day, just hoping that something will show up. But so far, not a Merry Christmas for me. Yeah, that's the only downside of having people post that. It's like, oh, I want one of those too. That's good stuff. So yeah.
Wait, hang on, Danny's calling me.
No.
Hello?
Wait. He just buzzed me in too. Hey, Danny.
Group text.
Hey,
Group
Brad,
text.
what's going on?
Hey,
Melanie,
who needs Zoom? Party line.
Wow.
That's
Like when you're all in the same room with your family and everybody's on their phone, like texting
Right.
each other, talking.
Yeah. It's like your
Watching
whole
basketball
your
games.
whole network's here. Why are you on the phone? Right. Yeah. Maybe Danny's talking. Maybe Danny's talking to the legend. Legend's wondering why you can't get in. Yeah,
Can
the
you
legend's
unmute
just.
him so we can hear what he's saying?
Yeah, I wish I could, but yeah, I can only
Tell him we
ask
said
them.
hi, Danny.
Yeah. It's a pet shop. They just
Another
got
wrong
the cat
number?
litter.
No, it's the wife.
Oh. What's she got
So,
going on?
She's coming back home from the mother-in-law, so.
Oh, she should have stopped by my house. I got your barrel head.
Hmm.
Oh, well,
Oh, well.
lost opportunity. I had $100 bill taped to the back of it tonight too, in case you stopped
Oh.
by, but that comes
Oh,
off
man.
tonight. That's it. Tonight was the last night I was
Tonight
leaving
only.
around.
Oh, well.
Yeah, I had the barrel head and $100 taped to the back. I thought that'll be a nice surprise for Danny.
Well, I should receive the $100 because you forgot it.
No, you forgot to remind me. That's how that stuff happens. You forgot to remind me.
I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure you said that you were gonna go out and put it in your car.
Yeah, well, I try to do these things and I
He
forget.
put it on the couch.
It's on the couch. It's still sitting on the couch. It has its own couch
Oh,
right
what's
now.
going on?
Yeah. So there's 3 couches in the living room. It has its own right now. It's watching TV right now as we speak. Yeah. So there you go. All right. Anything else anybody wants to say about the 2021 before we put that to bed? Okay. Okay. Very good. Very good.
I like it.
All right, now just a time for a little bit independent work. Taste them side by side. Do whatever you got to do to come up with what is your favorite. The question is as simple as that. There's no ranking of a list or anything like that. Which one did you like better? So do a little work on that right now. Double check. You may think you know. You probably want to go back and check. As I taste side by side, to me, it's a clear cut winner. To me, I've got it down. I'll go last though. I'll go last. So I've just locked mine in. Ding, but just slid it in there. Light goes on. I'm set. I'm set. Robinsons are still working hard. Looking at nuances, trading notes,
I
tasting.
didn't leave enough.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Are you guys ready for this? Okay. We'll go in the order on my screen. That means Mike Gaskamp, you're first. Which one did you like better, 2020 or 2021?
Man, that's it. It is a really tough call because they're just different enough to both be fantastic. I'm gonna say 21 was my favorite.
Okay, that means 21 goes up 1-0. Mr. Danny, you're next.
I agree. I mean, they're both excellent. Well, it is kind of hard to choose, but I think he did it. I think he did it better in 21.
Okay, he's exceeded what he did in 2020 with 2021. All right. Next up on my screen is Carrie. So Carrie, you're next.
I'm gonna have to go with 21. I like the sweet and the smoother finish.
Okay. All right. Justine, then you are next after Carrie.
So the first pass through, I liked 21 better. Second pass through, I liked 20 better. So
Okay.
I'm gonna give 20 some love.
Okay. 20 is on the board. All right. So we still have a game here. We're still, anything can happen right now. Don't think it's over for 21. They have a 3-1 lead, but this can be beat. So Sally, you're next.
I'm gonna go 21. I
21.
like the deep fruit complex. And 20 is a little too hot for me.
Okay. Okay. Brad, how about you?
first pass through, I liked 20.
Okay.
Then I thought I liked 21 because it's a little bit sweeter, but I also liked 20 better. I think 21 is just a little too sweet for me.
Okay. Okay.
Very good. Depends on the mood, but
20 is down 4-2, but there's 3 votes left. It could not only come up and tie it, but it could go to a winner and could win this thing. It could win this thing. So we'll see what happens. Melanie, you're next.
I think 20 it would be a good mixer because it has a stronger flavor. And I think just like the actual years, 21 is better than 20.
Okay. That means that 2021 is going to win this thing. 2020 cannot catch it, but we're going to go through and complete the process here. Neil, which one did you like better, 2020 or 2021?
You know, I could drink one night and one the next night and be really happy.
Yeah.
But side by side, I think I'd have to go with 21.
21. Okay. I'm kind of along the same lines as Neil there. I like that analogy, and what would be my favorite when I was drinking the 2020 and then the 2021 another night, depending on what night you ask me. My favorite would be that night. But tonight we have both of them and they're side by side and we are tasked with choosing one over the other. And in this example, when comparing them side by side, I will say that I like the 2021 better. And that means that 2021 wins it 7-2. And of course, it also means that Steve Beam has exceeded in 2021 what he did in 2020. So congratulations to the team at Limestone Branch, and of course anybody involved in that Yellowstone brand, whether they're at Limestone or Luxco. Congrats on the what a great accomplishment that is. So very cool stuff. So there you go, and this is why we love this particular one. So good stuff. So did anybody get a 21 besides me? But again, I had a little help. Okay, Danny did. Where'd you get it at, Danny?
A1 in Effingham.
A1 in Effingham. Oh, okay, that's legit. Yeah, if you would have got an A1 in St. Louis, you'd have paid.
Oh yeah, I only paid $100 for it.
Okay, well that's actually good. Yeah, that's actually a very good price. But yeah, A1 in St. Louis is you don't pay retail there. So yeah. So very good. Well, congrats on that, Danny. You continue to work the stores. Amazing. So,
Yeah,
all
just all the
right.
traveling I do.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, with that, we've accomplished what we set out to do. Go through the two of these, compare them side by side, and determine which one is better out of the two. And again, congratulations to Steve Beam for making some great bourbon, whatever year we're talking about. But he exceeded what he did the previous year, which I think is always a goal of anybody doing that. So congratulations to him. And we will say goodbye to our folks that are watching this on YouTube. And we will continue this conversation after I shut off the recorder. Thanks. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.